Brilliant. Lovely. Hi, and welcome, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Kat, and I'm an editor at RM, having previously been a teacher for a number of years. So today I get the absolute pleasure of introducing Aaron Smith. So I will not say any thunder, but Aaron is the UK's dyslexia and SEND consultant for Microsoft, and he's going to be talking to us about all areas of accessibility for education. So throughout the session, if you do have any specific questions, please do type them into the Q&A box, which should be at the bottom right of your screens, and we'll try to answer as many as we can at the end of the session. So I always enjoy hearing Aaron speak at any events that I've been to. So enough from me, and I'll now hand over to Aaron.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Right, I'm going to share my screen. So if you do have, if you do find the chat box or the chat side, because we will need that as we go along. So just to let you know, I know that my captions are there at the bottom, and I've got this little marker here. I'm going to just change where my captions are positioned so you can see them. But if you do have a mobile phone, get that out now, because what we're going to do is, because I'm going to do some demoing today, you'll need to have some captions available for you if you need them when I'm demoing. Because I'm representing Microsoft, we've got to be as accessible as possible. So I'm just going to do that now. So I'm going to change the position of my captions. So I'm going to put that above. I'm going to change that to that. So if I can ask you just to, I apologize for that now being a little bit flashy. If you want to kind of, I'm just going to stop that a second. There we go. I'm just going to resume that. So hopefully it's not flashing again. So if you want to just scan that QR code with your mobile phone. I'm going to drop that link into the chat box as well. This is so you can get live captions to your device if you want to use your phone. If you're watching the recording, it will not work. So if you can just scan that QR code, that would be brilliant. So we need some people to scan it. If you've got a phone, or if you want to click on the link that I've shared in the chat box, that would be brilliant. I'm going to check it's working, because normally we get a lot more people you work it on there. There we go. We've got a few people doing it. Probably a little bit of delay on the recording, so that's good. So if you've got that open, you should be able to see my captions. You should be able to hear it now. So we'll just get a few more. We'll wait till it gets to, if we get to 9, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, we'll carry on. There we go. Right, we're going to move on now. So welcome everyone. My name's Aaron Smith, and I'm the UK's dyslexia and SEND consultant for Microsoft. And my role, as Kat said, is all about delivering accessibility into education. Now, my camera is here, but the screen where you are all on, and I can see the chat box is on this screen over here. So I'm looking this way. I apologise. It's just so I can see what's going on. So we're going to talk today about accessibility that Microsoft is offering for education. So that's what my role is every day. Now, we're very lucky at Microsoft that we have a mission that, to me, is very much about accessibility. So at Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. Now, I think that if you are a SENCO, if you're working in special needs, if you have a child in your classroom, or if you have a student that you know, or you have a child that's a member of your family that has a disability or a difference or needs accessibility, I think this mission really does it when it says achieve more. But I think this mission goes on to that next level when it comes to things like sexuality, race, gender, religion. I think that Microsoft is really kind of looking at that concept about empowering every person, despite who they are and what they need to deal with and what they do. I think that's really positive to look at it. Now, we are lucky again. Microsoft is massively invested in accessibility. When you have the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, say that accessibility is a Microsoft priority, we focus on designing and building products that our customers love, that are accessible for everyone and built for each of us. It's just an amazing thing to see. And I would say built in for each of us is what I will say about this by the end of the session today. Now, for me, it is an amazing thing. Only 2 weeks ago, Microsoft announced doubling down on accessibility. We are driving that accessibility as that, and understanding that them people like me, that you'll understand in a second, and people that have differences, are actually that untapped talent pool. Having people with the disabilities and differences in your workforce is so powerful because it gives a different perspective. Now, as I said, why am I here? Why am I doing this? And you've kind of probably got it. You may have seen that in some marketing about this. My name's Aaron Smith, and I am a severely dyslexic adult. I am 37 years old. I have a reading age of a 9-year-old and a spelling age of an 8-year-old. I also have no automatic reading capabilities, so I don't read names. I don't read text automatically. I know on the screen, on my screen, I can see that you are sharing the screen, and there's some text underneath it. Now, most people will automatically read that. I can't read that. I'd have to look at it and decode it. I've worked in the field of dyslexia for over 17 years. That's one of the reasons why Microsoft has me working in this field and supporting our education community. But I want to give you just that brief information about my story and why what I'm going to talk about today is so personal to me. I was diagnosed with being dyslexic at age 9. The feeling of stress and anxiety was definitely there. I didn't understand why I didn't know what 1 times 1 was, why I was being picked on for not knowing that. Why was I having to read silently when you have to read out loud to hear yourself read? Why is my sister, who's 3 years younger than me, can read better than me? Why is this? Well, I got diagnosed with being dyslexic. Now, we know that dyslexia is not just about reading, writing, and spelling. It's a lot about other things. But over life, I got through education, I got support, I got a statement, or an EHCP as it's called now. I then ended up leaving school with 5 GCSEs. I had an AVCE and a GMVQ in IT and did very well in them. And then I went and worked, started my working career as a youth worker. I was there for 2 years, got made redundant. To this day, I still don't know how I did that job when I'm using a computer from what I have to do today. I then worked on a building site. Now, just remember that I have co-occurring differences. So I also have dyspraxia. So pushing a wheelbarrow on a building site was quite hilarious. I then worked for a large retail company, and they didn't understand that dyslexia affects your day-to-day life. And then I got the job that I really wanted. I started working for the British Dyslexia Association, and I was there for 5.5 years as their membership development officer. In 2016, I started my entrepreneur life. I founded the SEND group that delivers training to the education community through webinars every Tuesday and Thursday night. I then founded the LVA group that works with the largest tech company in the world, Microsoft, and also works with other companies such as Dyslexia Box and Deco Comics. We then founded Dyslexia Show in 2019, the UK's first national exhibition purely dedicated to dyslexia. And in 2020, we founded SEND Group International, which delivers training in India and also supports an independent sector in the UK. So for me, without the technology I'm going to show you today, I cannot do my job. Because of my dyslexia, I do have support for access to work, but I do need this technology. And the technology I'm going to show you, I use on a regular basis. Now, when we look at this from a Microsoft point of view, we know there is 1 billion people in the world with a disability. And we know that we have to look at things in a different way. I'm just going to jump over to another slide just because I realized that I had another slide hidden for another talk that I did the other day. And that was just to talk about dyslexia. But this one here is talking about Microsoft and how Microsoft is really kind of wanting to understand and support those people with additional needs. So promoting that independent learning is what it's all about. Now, if you want to take anything away today, take away that web link, aka.ms/accessibilitysway, aka.ms/accessibilitysway. Anyone with a difference, a disability, needs accessibility, that is the link we would use today. That link there will give you anything, any technology that we are as Microsoft are delivering through the areas that you can see on the screen. So mental health, neurodiversity, mobility, hearing, visual learning. And just to give you that idea, we've built tools into Microsoft 365 to help with mental health. We hire people with autism and neurodiversity. We have eye gaze built into Windows 10 to support people with mobility. We're running captions through PowerPoint Live, PowerPoint and Teams on hearing. We have colorblind tools in visual. And of course, we have the learning tools, which I'm going to demonstrate today for you. So for me, it is all about that. Now, I want you just to think about something for 2 minutes. I want to really ground you in Microsoft's accessibility mission. I want you to think about mobility. And I'm going to ask you a question. Now, I would love people to click on the on their chat box and answer the question. Do you know that Microsoft owns Xbox? So just put a Y or an N in the chat box. It'd be really useful to see if the chat box works. So if anyone can just put a Y or an N in the chat box, that would be most appreciated. That's fine. So we've got a couple of Ys going in. That's really useful. That's fine. So we now know that Microsoft owns Xbox. Or if you didn't know, that's fine. It's brilliant. That's it. It's good. There's a little bit of delay. That's fine. I understand. So if we're thinking about mobility and we're thinking about Xbox, we're thinking about gaming. It doesn't matter if we're gaming on an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Switch. We need these two things. We need thumbs. What happens if we don't have any thumbs? What happens if we have limited movement on thumbs? What happens if we've had an accident, we've lost a thumb? Microsoft created the world's first accessible game controller. This is a physical device that works for people with physical differences using lightweight joystick sensors and switches. It's fully customizable, works with Windows 10 and the Xbox. Now, I'm going to ask you now, how much do you think this device costs? Remember, this device is for someone with a disability, with a physical disability. How much do you think this costs? So you want to write in that chat box, not in the Q&A, in the chat box. How much do you think it costs? So just wait. I think there is a small delay, but that's fine. How much do you think it costs? So we've got £50. Let's see if we've got any higher than 50. 55, 100, 150. 100, 150, so 250, 100, so 60. So actually, we've got within $10. I like that one. It's not $10. Expensive, as most things for ASN are expensive. It's £74.99. £74.99. So it is a little bit more expensive than a normal controller. But £74.99p, I think, is a really good price for a product that is designed to support people with physical differences and as an accessibility product. That's really good. Thank you very much for engaging with me. It's good to know that you're out there as we look at this digital way of learning. So Microsoft is definitely looking at other ways. Now, not only have we actually done that, we've also made that box accessible as well. I love it how people put wow, it is. So we're going to look at our inclusive classroom message. We're going to look at how we can deliver accessibility in the classroom. And we're going to look at reading, writing, maths, and communication. And we're also going to look later on at a brand new product that was only announced on the 4th of May. And I'm going to demo that for you today as well. So I'm going to do a lot of demoing. But first, Microsoft knows that dyslexia affects around 10% of the UK population and around 20% of the US population. So we would say it's probably an average of 15% around the world. Dyslexia is a biggest hidden disability. And we hacked an idea into OneNote called Learning Tools that basically gives us the opportunity to have things like text-to-speech. Now, we've now called this Immersive Reader. This has got text-to-speech with synchronized highlighting, has visual stress aids, grammar options, real-time translation, picture dictionary, math-to-speech, and, of course, dictation. We also have formatting and transcriptions as well. And I'm going to show you these features now. Now, I'm going to demo something now to you. And I'm just going to bring up my demo tenancy. I am. And I'm going to just open a new tab. I'm just going to bring it over here. So I'm just going to open up office.com. So I'm logging now into office.com. So I'm going to talk all about the online version of Office, because to me, this is where everything is. This is how it all works. The benefit of this is free. If you're using RM Unify, you can get access to this. If you're using just Office 365, you can still get access to this. Office.com is free for every student and every teacher. And there is accessibility built into every one of the apps on the left-hand side, starting with Forms at the bottom there that has Immersive Reader built in. Sway is designed to be used under reading mode. Teams has got accessibility with Immersive Reader. Dark mode, captions, and reading progress. SharePoint, which is this S here, is our file storage, but also it's got the WAG standards, the World Accessibility Standards 2.0, plus it's going to have Immersive Reader. OneNote is your digital workbook that has accessibility built in. It's an amazing product that has the ability to have pictures, audio, dictation, Immersive Reader. OneDrive, your terabyte of storage, it has Immersive Reader. Outlook, again, has Read Aloud. We have PowerPoint that has Immersive Reader, captions. It has, I've just remembered the word, this is my dyslexia because I know what I want to say and I can't remember it. It has Present Coach. It has PowerPoint Live to give us captions. It's just so powerful. It's just been announced. Excel is getting Immersive Reader. And of course, Microsoft Word or Word Online has Immersive Reader. And that's what we're going to look at today. So I've got my Word document here. I'm going to open it up on Word Online. This is so powerful for our learners using Word Online because there are so many features built into Word Online that can be used on a regular basis and can be just really useful for our learners. We can see here that we've got this text in the middle of the screen. How am I going to read it? You know I'm severely dyslexic. How am I going to read that? I'm going to read it in a different way. And I've just realized I have no idea if certain things are going to work today, but we're going to have a go. It did work last time. So we're going to go into this and we're going to go to the View tab. And there is the Immersive Reader button. It's always in the View tab. View is in for looking, View is in for seeing. So let's go to Immersive Reader. This is going to take me out of that editing view and put me into my Immersive view. Now what it's done is it's changed that background color. And I'm just going to put it back to what it would be if you went into it the first time. So the first time you went into it, it probably looks a bit similar like this. It'll have a white background and it'll have spaced out text. Now that is also very beneficial for some learners. So for me, that's a really positive thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in and go to this. I'm just going to hide that there so we can see a thing. I'm going to first go to the A in the top right hand corner. Now this is our text preferences. We can change the size, make it bigger or smaller. We can turn that spacing on and off, which I quite like. We can pick a couple of fonts. I know there was a debate about Comic Sans as being a dyslexia-friendly font last year, but to me, proper A's, proper G's, it's really helpful for some learners. Different background colors we can choose. These are Erling colors. We're not going to get into the debate about background colors, but they can be helpful for some learners. We can turn that formatting on and off, which is really useful for learners. But we can do so much more. In our grammar options, we can syllabarize the text. Remember, this is freely available today. You can have this today. You just go to office.com, open up Word, put some text into it, click on the View tab, and go to Immersive Reader. We can pick out our nouns, our verbs, our adjectives, and our adverbs. We can also then change it that we know, you know what, nouns in our school are blue, but we have people that are colorblind, so we're going to put labels on everything. So now we can see things. This is really powerful and useful for our learners, which is really kind of useful as well. On top of that, we can focus online, removing distractions, which is, again, a really useful tool. And one of my favorite tools is Pitch Dictionary. Having pictures to help decode words is really useful. It's a powerful concept as well. Look at called 4 pictures, physical hasn't got one, but geography's got 2 pictures. To understand that word geography, really useful there. But of course, the biggest thing is this, and I'm just going to now change this to a female voice. But I'm going to press the play button. Now you should be able to hear this.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys. They can also be glacier or rivers.
That is so useful for learners because now we have text-to-speech, which is using your ears, and we've got synchronized highlighting, which is using your eyes. So we have an auditory and a kinesthetic process, a multi-sensory input for learning. That's really useful. We also then have that female voice, which is a natural speaking voice. It doesn't sound like a computerized voice. We can also go in and change it to a male voice.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys. They can also be glacier or rivers.
I love how it says the word glaciers or glaciers. It is just an amazing concept there, that how you can change that voice. And of course, you can make the speed faster.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys.
Or of course, you can slow it down. So that can be really helpful.
Valleys. They can also be glacier or river.
That can be really helpful as well for some learners. But what we also do is we also know we have students in school with English and additional language. Now, one of the things that I think is really cool is that I can go down here and let's just pick a language and like Urdu, and I can turn this whole document into Urdu. And Urdu is a read aloud language. Now look at the synchronization.
जमीन की ज़मीनी शक्लों के मुताले को जिस्मानी जोग्राफिया कहा जाता है. ज़मीनी शक्लें पहाड़ और वादियाँ.
And that is really useful. We can even pick a language that is only a very small language, but still a very popular language, and that's Welsh. Turn the whole document into Welsh, but look at this.
Gelwir astudio tirffurfiau'r ddaear yn ddaearyddiaeth ffisegol. Gall tirffurfiau fod yn fynyddoedd a chymoedd. Gallant hefyd fod yn rhyw...
And that is really useful. Now, Welsh is, of course, taught in our Welsh schools. So that, again, is a tool that we only announced last week. So we announced that last week. It's now available. And that is really useful. I just love looking at how we can use it. Even if I wanted to, I can convert it into an English language. So let's do English. Let's do English to Australian. And you're going to say, well, why? If I do that, it's going to look the same. It does look the same, but listen to the voice.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys.
So we now have an Australian accent reading out English. Now, what is that beneficial for? It's been beneficial for our ASD students, because ASD could affect that language could be difficult for them, or that hearing could be difficult. It's a really powerful concept, a really powerful tool there that we can use to support with learners, and that is reading. So I can go to the View tab and I can go to Immersive Reader. Now, carry on that concept of reading. Just going to go back to this. Lots of you will have seen this logo. This is the Edge browser, and this is the Edge Chromium browser. Now, this is what I'm using now to deliver this web page. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to go to a website that I haven't been to. So let's go to this one. I have no idea what it's about, apart from I know it's about Prince William. I'm just going to make sure. So this one has decided not to work for me. Just 1 second, let's find another one. So this page here, I have no idea who it's about, but what I'm going to do is I want to read this. I want to know what this page is about. So I'm going to press the right mouse button on any web page. I'm going to press read aloud.
The real reason Aunt Middleton was axed from SAS. Who dares wins.
And this basically now means that I can now highlight this bit here and continue reading from here.
SAS. Who Dares Wins returns on Sunday night, and viewers might be a little perplexed that Aunt Middleton is back, despite officially leave the show earlier this year. How send a email? How send a email?
Now, so you can see there that there's lots of text and there's lots of things going on. But for any student that finds reading difficult, we can now use that to support their learning. And we can use that to read a PDF as well, of course. So right mouse button on a PDF. But the one feature also is really beneficial is this icon here. Now, we know that that icon is the same as this one, because it's the Immersive Reader one. I can now have Immersive Reader in a web page. So I can change the background color. I can do my grammar options. I can pick out my picture dictionary. Let's have a look. Let's see, who dares? Let's see, ant. That's quite cool. Let's find night. That is just so powerful. A web page there that you can open up Immersive Reader in. It's just there. And I use these features on a regular basis. So we've just looked at there 3 things. We've looked at Immersive Reader in Word Online, read aloud on a web page by pressing the right mouse button, and Immersive Reader on a web page as well by using the icon in the top corner. Now, what else can I do? I can do a lot about writing as well, because there's an amazing button just here called Dictation. So let's just see what happens when I press it. I actually turned it off there for a reason. Here's my dictation control panel. I've moved it up so you can see it. I've got a little spoke here where I can change some settings. So it's picking from whichever microphone I want to pick from. It's picking the language. You can see there that as I'm speaking, the microphone's moving. So what I'm going to do, let's change that to a UK. I can have auto punctuation turned on. I can also have a profanity filter, which this makes me laugh. If you were writing a book with profanity in it or writing a sentence with profanity in it, you can turn that off because it will not do it unless you do have that turned off. It stars it out. Watch this. I'm now going to use dictation to dictate whatever I'm saying. Full stop, new line. Stop dictating. So I've used a command there to stop the microphone from dictating, but you can see there that it's wrote what I've said. Now on the left-hand side, sorry, the right-hand side of the screen, you will see here all the things you can say. So these are actually all the punctuation phrases you can say. You can also say all the editing phrases, formatting, creating a list, and that's what we're going to do. Let's use that to actually manipulate this document just using your voice. So I have to press the button to take on. I'm now going to dictate on how I would recommend people to think about dictation. Full stop. Okay, let's do this. Delete. Okay, let's do this. Delete. Delete. Okay, let's do. New line. Bold. New line. New line. My dictation tips. Full stop. New line. Bold. Start list. Think before you speak. Full stop. New line. Speak clearly and fluently. Full stop. New line. Use a microphone array or USB microphone to support with accuracy. Full stop. Stop dictation. How useful is that tool there? Well, it took me about a minute, minute and a half, and I've dictated about 20 words, 50 words. That's a really powerful tool, that is. It's a really useful concept there for learners to use. To me, it's such a powerful tool. It's a tool I use every single day. That's how much I use it, which is really useful. I can also go into transcription as well. So transcription goes that next level. That I can take an audio file, I can upload an audio file to my computer, and then it will then convert it into whoever has spoken. Again, really useful for some of our learners. We also have Editor, which is a powerful tool that kind of assesses your work. And not only does this do spelling and grammar, it does things like accuracy, consistency, clarity, inclusivity. They are things that we are now having to think about when we are working with our students, and also when we're working with our learners. And also then when we are working in the workplace. This is what it's designed for. It is just such a powerful tool. You can also have word prediction turned on and off, which again is a tool that I never knew I used until I didn't have it. So there I've just done dictation and all the features built in dictation. I've quickly shown you that you have transcription, and you also then have editor, which is a powerful tool. It is. It's a really useful tool, it is. It is. So let's now move on to our next thing. I'm just going to go through my presentation. To say these features are there in many places. So they're not just in Word Online. Like I said, they're in Microsoft Teams. The three little dots in Teams, you can use Immersive Reader, and then you can play it. You can also find that in chat and conversations, and also in posts and in channels. If you're using Flipgrid, Flipgrid is a student voice tool. This allows you to use video to support with learners. It's available there. If you have an A3 license, you have Minecraft Education. Minecraft Education. In the game, we've added the Immersive Reader. Now, not only have we added the Immersive Reader into that is freely available, so you pay for the game, of course, but you do get it. It's only available in Education Minecraft. Words like creeper have been put into the picture dictionary, which is really useful. If you're using Microsoft Forms, I said it earlier, Microsoft Forms is so powerful. Education got Immersive Reader first. We can now use this with our internal users, so our students, and also our external users as well. So we can also use this for anonymous users as well. Really useful. Teams assignments. Back in 2019, we had that, and unfortunately, that the GIF has stopped working there. But actually, in there, you can actually have it in there as well, which is really useful. We also then have Microsoft Whiteboard. So if you're using the Whiteboard app and you have an education login, again, that has Immersive Reader built in, which is really useful. And then new things. CodeMaker, part of Microsoft, is going to get Immersive Reader. That is really useful. OneDrive and SharePoint means you are going to be able to instantly open a document in your online OneDrive straight into Immersive Reader. That is just huge. And of course, it's now available in PowerPoint in the web. Highlight any text in the web, right mouse button, and there's the Immersive Reader. Opens the text into there. So it means now if you're sharing a PowerPoint with a student, they can listen to it, they can read it. It's really useful. All of this is a life-changing experience. It allows students with additional needs to actually be on that level playing field. It's such a powerful tool. And like I said, I use it every single day. Now, we have these features in many places. They're not just in the things I've shown you. There is in so many flavors, of course. It's just taking a few minutes to load the screen up, of course, because this is a hard screen to load. And if it carries on loading, I will just move on. Let's just jump to it. So it makes it easier. So this screen here shows you where learning tools, where Immersive Reader is for everyone. So we take that top line. That top line is our reading out loud features with synchronized highlighting. 5 versions of OneNote, 4 versions of Word, PowerPoint to the web, 2 versions of Outlook, Teams, Flipgrid, all versions of Flipgrid, Whiteboard, Microsoft Forms for everyone, SharePoint and OneDrive, CodeMaker, Microsoft Education, Microsoft Lens, and the Edge browser. The only one we haven't spoken about is Office Lens or Microsoft Lens. It's just so many places. Last line is Dictation. Dictation is in 3 versions of OneNote, 2 versions of Word, one version of Outlook, PowerPoint in the web, both versions of PowerPoint, and of course there in the Windows 10 operating system. If you press the Windows key and H, you have Dictation built in. So many places where we can support learners. We now have something new. It only came out last week. It was only announced last week, and this is Reading Progress. And I have a minute video I want to show you today as we launch Reading Progress.
Let's go! The study of Earth's landforms is called bicycle geography. The study of Earth's landforms is called bicycle geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys. They can also bicycle geography.
That's Reading Progress. Reading Progress is just such an amazing tool. I'm going to show you this here. This here was a recording of me that I did reading this area about the Republic of India. You can listen to me here.
Microphone. I'm going to read. India, officially the Republic of India, is a country.
I forgot that this has got a word in that I shouldn't have said. I'm just going to jump over that because I knew that I said the word wrong. I need to change this recording because it is. Let's jump to this word. Let's jump to here. So if I press on Asia here and I can click on jump.
It is the most populated, the 7th largest
So you can see there that I have got an omission. I have missed that word out. I have made an insertion here. I've made a country. You wouldn't know how hot I am now because I forgot that I'd said that wrong when I did it, because I haven't read the video. So I apologize for anyone that means that I actually didn't mean to say that. But anyway, let's move on. You can see here that I've put repercussions. I've done that. I've got an accuracy there. I can turn the sensitivity down, so it's now going to look at it and actually see how well I've done. I can also turn it off and just do it myself. They're the words I've picked out myself. It's a really useful tool. I can add this in here and give the feedback to the person and give them points, but I can then also see the insights of every person in my school, and that is really powerful. This is a free, is part of Microsoft Teams. It will be available at the end of the year. If people want to know more about it, they can also come back to me. It's a really powerful tool, it is. But on top of that, you have things like Microsoft Tools. I'm just looking at the time because I actually have forgotten what time the session is meant to finish. It started at 15:15. So we actually have, so we need to finish that. We've got time. So just kind of messing up my time. So we started at 15:15. So we've got about 10 minutes left. So I'm going to talk about PowerPoint now, just because PowerPoint is an amazing tool. And I'm just going to go back into Office and just talk about PowerPoint very quickly. PowerPoint can be accessible, and I really want you to know this. And I know I'm giving you lots and lots of information here, but you know what? This is really useful to know. PowerPoint in the web really can help your students, can really help you as teachers. And I want to show you why, because we have this button here called Designer. Designer comes up as you open up PowerPoint in the web, gives you all these ideas, but actually it makes your slides accessible. If I make a new slide here, I'm going to use Dictation to create my slide. I'm going to create my staff meeting. Staff meeting. English, new line. Maths, new line. ICT, new line. Tea break, new line. Geography, new line. Music, new line. Drama. How quickly have I made that presentation? How quickly has that been made? That is really quickly, that is. Think about using Dictation not just as an accessibility tool, think about using it as a productivity tool. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to turn on Designer. Designer is going to give me some ideas. Now, it started a few ideas here, like a staff meeting picture, and it's then gave me also the word staff meeting. But actually, what's these? These are pictures. Look what it's done now. So it's now created a blue background with the word staff meeting that's highlighting the title. English has got a picture of books. Maths has got a picture of a calculator. ICT's got a picture of a computer. Even we have a cup of tea for our tea break. This is accessible. This is allowing students to have additional needs to be able to look at a word and decode it using a picture to decode, the same as what we would do, say, with a picture, with a picture timetable. We can do that as well. This is so useful for our learners. Really powerful, really supportive, an amazing way of doing it. But on top of that, not only can we do that, we have things like captions, that we can show captions on our slides. We can do live presentations where we can have captions to our mobile device. We can also have Rehearse with Coach, which I'm going to add another few slides. So let's just put here the conference. Let's see what this comes out with. Look at that picture there. That's even got a video built into it. Let's add one more slide into this. Now, what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to add another slide into this. I'm just going to put statistics. 10% new line, 15% new line, 20% new line. Look how beautiful that is. Of course, I could use that one. Let's use that one. So what I'm going to do is just move that around. I'm going to do a presentation using a feature here called Rehearse with Coach. Watch this. Now, Rehearse with Coach is going to need to listen to me. So it's going to use my recording, use my audio here. Now, I'm going to speak very funnily. So do not worry about me speaking really, really fast or really, really slow. Because if I speak really, really fast, it's going to tell me in a second that I need to do something. It's going to tell me something that I need to slow down a little bit. I'm now going to speak very slowly. English, maths, science, ICT. I'm going to speak really, really high because I want to make a funny thing. I do apologize that my voice is sounding really weird. Okay. Basically, we're going to talk about this today. We're basically going to do this, and hopefully the word basically is going to appear in a second because I can't stop saying the word basically, and it's not going to do what I want it to do. But you've kind of already seen there. Oh, look, it's coming out that's telling me not to do it. So, of course, statistics is 10%, 15%, 20%, and of course. Okay, let's move it. You guys are amazing. Let's hope you guys are brilliant. So, I can't say that word, but hey ho, let's see what happens. What's going to happen now is it's going to give me this concept here that I spoke a little bit too fast. So I did 152 words per minute. Need to slow it down. I said basically and like a lot. I said you guys rather than you. I didn't say anything that is repetitive. Or I said really a few times. I said my average pace went up and down as you saw. My pitch went up and down as you saw. You heard it. And it kind of gave me that concept there. So this is giving me not only a way of understanding how I'm presenting, but a real good way of supporting my presenting. So that is really useful for our learners and also useful for us as teachers, as educators, as conference supporters. Really powerful tools. With the concept of power of present coach, you then have that power of PowerPoint Live, delivering that QR code like I did at the beginning, having live captions appear on your device for you in your specific language, using emojis, giving that opportunity is really useful. It's really useful. It can go in any language, like I said. It's really powerful for lots of people to help with it. They also can give feedback through Microsoft Forms, which again is a really useful tool. With having Designer, with having Present Coach or PowerPoint Coach or Presentation Coach, having captions and PowerPoint Live, we are making a real accessibility approach when it comes to PowerPoint. Captions will soon be coming to OneNote very soon, a little bit delayed. And if you do have any iPads in your classroom, do check out Seeing AI. It's an amazing feature to support with anyone that has difficulty decoding words or reading, also designed for the blind community. I would love you all to, after this session, go to education.microsoft.com, sign up to our education community, get lots of information of how we support our learners, how you can support learners using your Microsoft tools. Everything I've talked about today is built in. It's mainstream, it's non-stigmatizing, and of course, it's all free. We want to build that foundation for success. We want to grow our students' independency. We want to empower you as teachers, and we want to create them inclusive environments. Putting technology at the heart of learning with accessibility tools built in for everyone creates independent learners and ensures all students achieve their full potential. I want to thank you for listening to me. My email address is on the screen and also is my Twitter handle. Do put your questions in the question box. The one last thing I want to say to you is that if you want me to deliver this talk in your school for free, go to aka.ms/AaronDyslexia to find out what I do. Or you can, of course, drop me an email there at aaron@sendgroup, aaron.smith@sendgroup.co.uk. I did have a Microsoft email. If you do have my Microsoft email, please email this email as I've moved over to this one now until the end of June. So if there's any questions, Catherine, I'm open for questions. Over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Aaron. So much information there and lots of inspiring ideas and recommendations. So as Aaron said, please do put any questions you've got in the Q&A box. We've got about 15 minutes to sort of, ask as many things. So we have got one already.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's the nature of working. So how can people access this tool? So if after today people are thinking, yep, love it, what do we do?
If you have, so you need to be using Microsoft 365. So you can know that by going to office.com and using your email address and your password, that will log you in. If you can log into that, then you have Microsoft 365. All you then need to do is speak to that IT lead, get it set up so that your students have access. So every student has an email address, then your students have it. It's been designed for one-to-one. It is. It's designed for that one-to-one approach, that concept of everyone having access. Doesn't matter if you haven't got that many devices. As long as they can log in, they can log onto it on their phone, on their on an iPad. It's just everywhere you can use it. So office.com is how you get into it.
Brilliant. Lovely. I can see people commenting that, definitely a tool that people are wanting to use. I'm really excited for the new stuff, new IT sort of development.
Yeah.
So in terms of dictation, how accurate is that dictation?
So dictation is really accurate in that concept. So I use it every day. I speak with a Leicesterian accent because I live in Leicester. I also have got a bit of a mixed accent because I have I've worked down in Bracknell and stuff like that. I'm using a microphone array today, and it is appearing on the captions on what I'm saying. When I did dictation, again, I used the microphone array. It's 2 microphones into my device. I can give you one story about that. Is that when I was down in Somerset many years ago, well, not many years, about 2 years ago, I had a gentleman. I was in a college. The gentleman that was talking to me, he was a bit of a heckler. He liked to heckle me. We had a really good laugh over the session. But he was a bricklayer. It was a bricklaying tutor, and his accent was very, 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 very West Country. Very much, you could be very rude and call him a farmer. And I said to him, he asked that exact question, and what I did was I got my headset, took my headset off, put it on him, and said, "Speaking to my computer." No changes. I just asked him to talk, and he spoke, and it dictated 97% accurately. So that is the thing; it is very accurate. The more you use a directional microphone, like a USB headset, like one of these, the better it will be. Even the microphone array works, and also I've had my device here in an exhibition centre, and it has worked as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, I was thinking about that with background noise of the classroom and different environments. That sounds great. And what about Word on desktop systems? I know that it's gone through the...
Yeah. Okay. So how that works is that we know that people will know that they probably may not have used Word online like I use today. So when we use this version here, this I'm showing on my screen, you can see here, this is Word Desktop. Now you have to have a subscription for that to work. So basically, if your school has a subscription, which is kind of an an A3 or an A5 license, logically schools may have A5 licenses, you will then get dictation, A3 licenses. You get A3 licenses. You'll then get dictation and Immersive Reader on them devices, on them products. You have to be connected to the internet for them to work. So at the moment, they cannot be used in an exam, but that's how you would do it. You have to have a subscription. So yes, the tool is free, the product isn't. So theoretically, you'll be paying for that. Now, lots of schools pay for Office anyway, but they may pay for it in a different way. So I would recommend, if you want these features on your desktop, you would need to have an A3 license, and you can ask your IT people what license they have. And if you need any help, you just come back to me. Just drop me an email. I'm happy to have that conversation with you.
Brilliant. That's great. And sort of ages of pupils, I suppose, was sort of in my head thinking, what age have you seen it most effective?
Okay, so primary is where it starts. So I would get more people to use it in primary. So there's 3 things on age. Firstly, let's talk about children logging in. So in Wales, from year 1, every student is given an email address, and they keep that email address for the whole of their schooling life in Wales in the state sector. So that means they are getting children to log in very early. So that digital kind of transformation concept for a person to understand that they type in an email address and a password, that's very good. That's very useful. Yes, they may have a password on a key ring. They may use a QR code, but there is ways of doing it. So we can get students logging in as early as theoretically 6 or 7. Students that use this well, I would start using it from 7 onwards easily. It is powerful for learners to actually use dictation and to use read aloud. The thing about it is, if you have a student that basically finds decoding difficult, they can use it. And I've seen videos of students using Immersive Reader on an iPad and not actually just pressing the play button and listening. They're literally using it. They're reading it along. They're pressing the button so it reads the single word. So age is brilliant. I would use it in primary, because if we can get more people using text-to-speech now, it doesn't matter as of today, because we theoretically can't use these in an exam for secondary. We are having that normal way of working. The concept of text-to-speech and dictation is a normal way of working. So yeah, I would use it in many people, anyone and everyone. I would just use it. I like I said, I've been using it for since 2016, since it came out. But I've been using AT or assisted text for the past 10 years. So it is really powerful and really useful for our learners. So as early as possible, I will say, always say.
Brilliant. Brill. And I suppose the other thing that I've sort of been considering is, I know we kind of talked about it quite a lot today in the context of dyslexia. Are there sort of other areas of additional needs that you?
So when you look at that very first slide I had around independent learning, we are always looking at actually we are dealing with people that have, say, hearing difficulties by using closed captions. That's a productivity tool I'm using now. And actually, it's picking up your voice as well, if you haven't noticed, which is really useful. It is for some people, especially with me that I've got my camera here and I'm looking there. So if you're trying to lip read me, that's really difficult. I have actually had teachers. I've been to colleges where I've had teachers burst into tears or tutors burst into tears because for the first time ever, they're able to access what the trainer is giving them. Turning on captions is just a starting point. It's across the board. Microsoft is looking at so many areas of supporting with accessibility. The doubling down is just really what we said last week. The doubling down of accessibility is just an amazing thing that we are trying to do. And it's really powerful for our learners to do that. So the more we can get involved in that, the better it is. So let's just keep looking at ways to support learners. That web address I said at the beginning, aka.ms/accessibilitysway, aka.ms/accessibilitysway, is that starting point. Anything in there will give you all the tools and features. But then following me on Twitter, like we announced, like I said last week, I knew it was coming last week. I was so excited for last Wednesday. The downside is for me, because I live in the UK, I had to wait till theoretically 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock UK time before it was announced. 3 o'clock UK time, because it was announced at 6 o'clock US time in the morning. So I had to wait all day for this announcement to happen, and then it happened. But it is just an amazing concept where we have now got things like Welsh in Immersive Reader. We've got reading progress, that way of actually being able to assess our students on a regular basis. It's just powerful. It is, and that's where technology is going, and how the AI is just really supporting learners.
Brilliant. So I suppose we're coming sort of to the end. If anybody else has got any more questions, do pop them into the Q&A box quickly and we'll get them answered. But kind of next steps for people, if you could say, right, after today's session, what would you say?
Go and play with it. Go to office.com, press Word, type some text into it, View tab, Immersive Reader. Try that. Or Home tab, Dictation. It's that simple. It is. It can be that simple. Office.com, it may be a little bit different, but a web page, we're normally used to going to a web page. You can search for it. There is loads of YouTube videos. You can follow Mike Tholson, who's my boss at Microsoft. He does so many top tip videos. You follow me on Twitter and you can find that. The next thing then would get me into your school. It's a free talk. The talk is free for every school. Anytime between now and the end of June, I'm available. If it's after June, we need to talk about it because we have to wait to the next year to confirm I'm still around. We just wait for funding. But if that funding comes available, then we will let you know. But it is just a really useful concept for us. It's like, that would be where I would start. And I think that you would just go to that next level because it can change people's lives. That's the most important thing. Hopefully you can hear that I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of people listening as well that are now very passionate about it. So, and in terms of sort of, I know you'd said, get in contact for visits or to book you. What about from an international perspective?
Again, if it's international, just drop me an email and I can try and find you someone. It's not a problem. We can always, the benefit now is that we have got this thing called Teams, Zoom. We can do all these things. So it's actually not now a barrier. There's no barrier to doing that, as we've been through it for such a long time. But we want more people doing it. We want more people using it. So it's all about, it's a free tool. So just use it. It's there. And it just supports children and young people and adults and people with additional needs.
Yeah, definitely. I know I was looking at it thinking for myself in my working environment, it's really useful as well. Brilliant. Okay, well, if you do have, as Aaron said, if you do have any further questions for him regarding Microsoft, then do drop him an email, or you can head over to the Knowledge Hubs as part of the event, and there'll be some more information on there, or you'll be able to chat with somebody from RM to identify sort of next steps. So within 24 to 48 hours of this session, you will receive your attendee pack, which will contain a recording of this session, so you can watch it back, because I know I like to go back and revisit things. And you'll also get your certificate of attendance, and there'll be a short survey. So if we can ask you to try and take a few moments to complete that survey, because the results really do help us to make improvements for the future and identify next areas that people are looking for information and support with. So if you are able, do stick around for the next session, which is coming up at 1:30 on, and I'll make sure I read this out correctly, Depth, Breadth and Sequence, Understanding Curriculum Progression in Early Childhood Education. And that is being led by Jan de Biel, the Executive Principal of Harrow Little Lions Kindergartens. So Jan has written widely on different aspects of early years policy, pedagogy and practice, and we'll be speaking about how we conceptualise an appropriate curriculum in early childhood education. So you will have access, full access. Sorry, I was just reading this one more comment, but I'll just finish. You'll have full access to all of the EduSummit content on demand for 3 months after the event as well. So I know we've had one more that's coming out quickly. I'm
going to put it into the chat box. I am.
Brilliant. So Aaron will add that in just before we finish. And
there you go.
There you go. Brilliant. So thank you very, very much for joining us today and finding all the interesting ways that we can use Microsoft to support accessibility for learners. And thank you very much.